Okay, black on. Get into it. Black on. Look at that. David Ford right there. That's his thing. Black on. He don't know Tom. Look at that. David Ford. That's his thing. He don't know Tom. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, I can't see the demons. I can't see the demons, but I can see the light.
We are creating black luxury across this country.
Are you keeping up with your Judy on duty? Well, if not, you need to. Every Monday and Wednesday at 10:30 Eastern Time, your Judy on duty is live in the Zamunda neighborhoods on Facebook at Lonnie Bee, Instagram at IamLonnie Bee, Periscope at IamLonnie Bee, YouTube at Chat with Lonnie. You need to be in the neighborhood so you can be live in Zamunda with your Judy on duty each and every Monday and Wednesday, 10:30 Eastern Time. Set your alarm because we need you there. And don't forget your bonnet, aka your bob, your robe, your good morning bitch mug, and your air condition. And meet us in your neighborhood in Zamunda with your Judy on duty, me, Lonnie Bee. See you there.
Good morning, bitch! Now tonight, I'm not just gonna have a conversation. I'm gonna talk my shit.
I think it's a dynamite show, great show, very unique. I had never seen an element that he brought to this show. I've never seen a comedian that can give you fun comedy, fun lessons. A show that was so unique that touched all his audience as far as what they were going through.
I'm different, you know what I'm saying? I'm different like a motherfucker. But we gonna get through it, y'all, together.
I applaud anybody who hasn't seen it, go see it. You better buy a ticket. My brother's selling out every time he drops a show. Keep him selling out. You know what I'm saying? Because the uniqueness that he brings to the stage, it's not matched by anybody.
Motherfucking ticket, you losing out, you missing it. Trust me, behind the mask is where it's at.
Yes! Oh, bitch, look at me shining like a nickel. Look at me shining like a nickel. Yes! First of all, everybody
everybody calm down. Okay? Oh, this is about to be legendary, bitch. Everybody calm down. Because I am so excited. Bitch, we got a legend, bitch, okay? In Michael's Den with Lonnie Bee, bitch. We got a legend in the lounge today. All right? Oh, see, you girls. Okay, let me tell you about you girls, you new generation girls. You don't know singing like I know singing. Bitch, okay? All right? You don't know singing like I know singing. I'm talking about the voices that hit your spirit and make your toes curl, girl. I'm talking about those girls. We got one of those voices in here today, bitch. We got one of those voices in here today. Now, for those of you that don't know, back in the 90s, bitch, okay? There was this girl group called Brownstone. Oh, bitch, and you didn't hear it through the grapevine, but I'm going to tell you about it, okay? Oh, and they sung with such passion. You know, the things that we missing today with such passion, okay? And the lead vocalist, okay, is in the building today. Oh, and we are going to have a conversation, okay, with this talent. We are going to have a conversation with this talent today. So I'm going to need you to put your hands together. Stand to your feet, okay? As I introduce to you, Nicci Gilbert Daniels of Brownstone. Come on, girl. Look at Nikki.
Hi, my love. This is how you start a Saturday morning, darling.
Yes.
Your energy is everything. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, Nikki, look at me. Oh, beautiful. The baby heads are laid, girl.
Thank you.
The baby heads
I tried. I said we were coming on Lonnie's. Listen here. We got to get these baby hairs together.
How have you been? How you been holding up since the pandemic?
Oh, snap. I've been good, actually. It's you know what? A lot of people have had a hard time navigating the pandemic, but I'm a writer. So, at heart, at the core of who I am is a writer. So I've been writing quite a bit, creating quite a bit of dope, what I think is dope stuff. I can't wait to share it with y'all. So I've been all right. We here. We ain't got nothing to complain about. We are here.
Yes. Do you have any artists you're writing for?
Well, no, other than Brownstone. Not right now. I've always been able to write better for Brownstone than anybody else, and for myself. So I just, self-contained.
Oh, so you wrote those hits, Nikki? You wrote those hits back in the day?
Probably 80 or 90% of them I had some say in. Yes, sir.
Wow, that is amazing. So let's get into it. What was it like being an R&B group in the 90s?
Oh, it was amazing. We were young. I was 23 years old when I signed my first record deal, so I was a baby. We were all babies. It was a beautiful thing. Coming from Detroit, Motown, that's the music capital of the world. Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful thing to get a deal, and not just be a 90s girl group, but to get a record deal with Michael Jackson was pretty fresh. So I was, on cloud nine.
Well, we was gonna get there. Don't you worry, we gonna get there. Yes.
So it was wonderful being in a girl group in the 90s. Awesome.
Yes. Do you feel like R&B today is dead?
Not at all. I feel like R&B is probably one of the most disrespected on the business side, but one of the most revered and respected on the musical side, which is kind of confusing for me because I recently found out that during the pandemic, R&B was like one of the main genres of music that was streamed, right? But then you started to say, coins, okay, whatever. But I mean, just in terms of who we are as artists and what we did musically, I think that it will always be alive. I think today's R&B may not be dead, but they might be in ICU a little bit. Just a snitch in ICU. Today's. There's some really great R&B singers out here, but nothing mess with the 90s. I think we can all agree with that.
Right. Why do you feel like that it's disrespected on the business side?
Just because it is. I think, what happens is, and, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I feel like every opportunity that you have to share your lessons, because I think they're lessons. I don't think of them as L's. I think it's very important for people to realize when I speak up about stuff, I like to be proactive. So for me, it's like, okay, well, this is what happened to us. This is what had happened was. So now as younger singers and business people, this is what you should be, looking to change, right? So we sign record deals. I mean, come on, what 22, 23-year-old is like, okay, so perpetuity means, you know what I mean? Like we didn't know any of that, right? We just didn't know. We were kids. We were excited about having a record deal. And I will say this here, because I don't think people are clear in some other places I've said it. Michael took care of it, like in terms of our agreement being one of the better of the what the agreements were back in the day. We definitely were good in that regard. Like we didn't overspend. They didn't allow us to overspend. There were clauses in our agreement that said, hey, if you spend X amount of dollars, this is what it is. So certain things, I think being signed to an artist, we got that were better than certain other things. But overall, just being an artist in the 90s, it was, hey, sign right here and you either get the deal and sign or you don't.
Right.
So when you have that choice, you got to make the best of it.
Right.
So no regrets. Just wish that I had the business head that I have now as a 50-year-old woman.
Yes. So you look good. You look fucking good too.
I got, you know, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Thank you.
So Michael Jackson really good care of y'all, Nikki?
I'm sorry?
Michael Jackson took really good care of y'all?
Well, the thing is, contractually, like our contract numbers, like the percentages are always going to be more in favor of the label. Mm-hmm. But like they shared more of what their percentage of it was with us, even though it was a smaller percentage, right? And then also like now that we're streaming, our percentages, from what I understand, because I haven't seen everybody else's contracts. But people who have looked at my contract in hindsight is like, oh, well, that's not so bad. So it's just the lesser of two evils, for lack of a better word. So it wasn't like we got really, because our advance was, you know, I'm just gonna say it was under $50,000. I ain't gonna say exactly what it was. But our spending on our album, you know, our album budget was like $250,000. You know what I mean? And we were able, and it was like, listen, you're gonna have to pay for all of this. All these car services to and from the studio, y'all better start taking cabs or walking y'all down the street. You know, so that's taking care of us, in my opinion, when you're being real transparent about the money we're spending and the amount of money we have to spend before it starts to get crazy. When you look at what a lot of the other charges are that we have no control over, like the packaging and the breakage and the returns and all this other stuff, when you start looking at all of that and then you look back and you're like, wow, it's been 30 years and I'm still unrecouped by almost $1 million. Ooh. You know what I mean? So those kinds of things you can't control. Those kinds of things Michael Jackson couldn't control. Those were some of the things that he was working to change in even his own agreement. So let's keep that in mind. It wasn't like he was like, here, take it, go spit. No, it wasn't that. But it was, be conscious of it. Here, we're going to fight for you to have X, Y, and Z. We're going to fight for you to hold on to this percentage of your publishing. Like the basic things that I think every artist should have, that every artist didn't have, we did.
Wow. Well, that's good. Yes.
That's good. That's one good part.
Let me ask you this. So why do you feel that it's hard for real R&B singers like yourself, like the Ingles, like the SWV, like the Escapes, like those groups? Why do you think it's so hard for those groups from that genre to sustain a successful career now in this generation?
You know, I think it's because, well, first of all, the beautiful thing about being a group from the 90s R&B is most of us, before this COVID came and start tearing shit up, most of us can still get out on the road because artist development was super important back in the day. And spending time on songs and making bodies of work and complete albums and really doing it that way allows us to now...
Talk about it, Nikki.
I ain't try to embarrass nobody or shame nobody, but I'm just saying we put work in. It took us a while to do a record, you know.
Yes.
Which the downside of that is that's also the reason why sometimes budgets were more expensive or whatever. And music has now evolved in terms of Pro Tools. Like literally, when we started making music, you had big ass boxes of reels that you would put on a 2-inch tape, and like if you needed to cut, and it wasn't just cut, edit, change it, tweak it. It was cut the tape, put it. It was a lot of work to go in and do those punches and change and stuff. So we were in the school of like practice it, rehearse it, get it tight, and lay it down in the studio so you don't have to do all that extra work. I wouldn't say that it's difficult for every artist because again, I can't speak for Escape and SWV, who I love, all girl. Look, and that's the other thing. We all had mad mutual respect for each other.
Yes.
Which has not changed.
Right.
I think it's hard for us to get the mainstream attention because people can just stream our music for 0.000.2 cents, you know what I mean, and get the benefit of us being there, you know, in their ears without having to go out and go to concerts and stuff. But our hardcore fans, thank God for thank God for the people who have stuck with us for 28, 30 years. And even Karen, when you look at Karen White and some of these other legends, Mickey Howard, who have stuck with them for generations. Yeah, we're grateful for that. Super.
Yes. Wow. That's
those are really people who know real good music.
Yes.
And they be telling their kids what real good music is, because Tory Lane's mama introduced him, his family introduced him to Brownstone when he was 2 years old. You understand?
Yes. So look, Nikki, so 2015, y'all lost one of y'all original members.
Yes.
2015, y'all lost one of y'all original members,
yes.
Charmaine Maxwell.
Maxie, yes.
Maxie, okay, yes, okay. Now, how did you guys overcome that and decided to, you know, go forward with the group?
Overcoming is a big word because I still think I'm in the process of overcoming that. She wasn't just my group member by any means. She was my best friend in the world. She was my sister, hands down. We talked every day. So we weren't just like, hey girl, what you been doing this year? You know, it was, you know, Nikolai is my nephew. So it was the most tragic experience of both Tisha and I. It was, you know, very, very, very tragic, awful, horrible thing. And it was something that initially I did not think that I was going to come back from. I already had a lot of issues with the industry and the lack of respect for legacy acts. But we were in the process of rebuilding our legacy and our careers. And unfortunately, when that happened, I just was like, you know what, this is it. I mean, you know, we went through the change with Mimi and Keena. And then, you know, we broke up for some years and Maxie moved to London and did some really amazing music. And then we, you know, we're going to come back. And then this happened and I just wasn't going to do it. So long story short, it was Tisha and her spirit and her, you know, she's rooted and grounded in her faith. Right. She's like, I always joke around and say she's like Choir Boy from the 5 Heartbeats. She is, right? Because Tisha's the one that's just like, Nikki, think about it. Like, we really, you know, Maxie would want this to happen. Maxie would want us to go on and continue to thrive. And then, you know, so that was it. I think that the spirit of Tisha being there, knowing how madly in love, you know, Tisha and Maxie were from the, you know, platonic sisterhood, obviously, but just, you know, that moment. And just, if God brought us the right person and the right situation, then we would continue. But right situation is more than just being able to sing. It is more than just being able to blend in the harmonies. It is a spirit and an energy that we have, because as a group, we literally we like each other. We have so much fun together. We laugh, honey. We laugh more than we sang together.
Yeah,
just that whole thing.
Yes.
And Aaron Jackson came along. We got offered the opportunity to do the Essence Festival right before our 25th anniversary, and Aaron came along, and it was just, Maxie was like, this is it, Nikki, we can do this. And she spoke to both Tisha and I, and there we are.
Yes, that is amazing.
I wasn't coming back though.
Yes.
Real talk, it was over.
I'm glad you overcame that, because, you know, just like you said, she wanted you guys to do that. So that was great. Yes. That was so great. So what was it like being signed to Michael Jackson? Because look, Nikki, first of all, okay, look over there, Nikki. You see that? Look over there.
I see that. Ooh, that's amazing.
Yes, yeah. I am a Michael Jackson fanatic. Like, ain't nobody, I don't give a fuck who come out. Ain't nobody. Yeah, Michael
You're right. Jackson. You're right. Period. Period. I love Beyonce so much, but I think even she would say he is the Holy Grail. of entertainment, because you can't, anything that came after him was inspired by him. It's like, you know, when you look at Little Richard, they have to give Little Richard the acknowledgement of like who he was, you know. Anything after Michael is second best. I love you, B, but Michael's the champ.
So look, but how was it working with him? Did he give y'all pointers? Did he come in there? Did he talk to y'all personal? Or was
it wasn't that relationship. It wasn't the, hey girl, hey Michael. Now we went to the house in Encino. We were invited to holiday stuff. I do remember him, not holiday stuff. We were invited a time, I think once to Neverland and then to the home in Encino. I remember a very short conversation that he and I had, because, you know, it wasn't this thing where it was like he was in the studio with us every day. Although we did record our songs and we would send what are called references or demos to him and to Jerry and to Jono, you know, our label people, whatever, and get the, we don't like this, and Michael Cena doesn't think, you know. And the one conversation we did have, was that it was like one of those Jack the Rapper conferences back in the day they used to have, where you would go and you would play all your music for all the label people and record people, radio people. And we had a brief conversation, and I was just like, I'm so honored that you would pick us. And I'm like, and I'm a little scared and insecure. And he was like, I chose you because you were great. Be great. Go and do what we know you're capable of doing, and don't have that over your head. You're Brownstone. Yes. And that was it for me. Michael Jackson tells you got it and you can do it and hand pick it in. And, you know what I'm saying?
So how did he discover y'all, Nikki?
So the discovery is a real interesting thing. Ooh, child, I get hot thinking about it. Stranded in the desert. No, it's really just a hot flash, y'all. I'm sorry. Stranded in the desert. I'll never forget. We were walking down Melrose. This guy, Shep Solomon, I believe is his last name, saw Maxine, was like, you're absolutely beautiful. You know, I would love for you to be the lead girl in my video. So we did this video. There was a young guy who was, I guess, financing the video, whose parents were financing Shep stuff for his label or whatever. So I was like, hey, listen, I'm going to connect with this guy over here, Maxie. You go be beautiful and be in the video. So, you know, I'm talking business. Tire blows out on the truck. They had two 15-passenger vans. Tire blows out on one. I stay behind with the business guy to talk business. Turns out nobody, because we were waiting for somebody to pick us up, nobody came to pick us up. So we're stranded in the middle of the desert, walk off the freeway, end up in this like hole in the wall dive bar, go and call it redneck bar, because that's who he jumped in the car with. He was like, I got $250 for anybody who could take us back to LA. And it was like two rednecks literally in El Camino. I was like, I ain't doing it. So I'm like, I'm from Detroit. Sorry, he was white, they were white. I have no problem. My other mother is a white woman. My sister, several members of my family are half white. So it's not about that. It's just certain people got this look where you're like, I might not make it 5 feet, let alone to LA. So I kept my big ass in the desert.
Yes.
And I just remember crying and asking God, if you get me out of this, I swear I will never make a dumb decision like this again. And as I'm tearing up and crying, I come up on a police station. I call Mimi. Mimi drives down with her brother to pick me up 3 o'clock in the morning. The next day we got a call from Shep, who said, I'm so sorry this happened to you. I would have never done that. I want to make it up to you. I know you guys, Nikki was saying y'all got songs and y'all trying to get a deal. I'll set up a meeting with you with my friend Barry Kolsky. He set up a meeting with Barry Kolsky at Emerald Forest. We went there a few days later. Barry entertained us. It was a courtesy meeting. We performed this, played our little music that we had wrote, sang our little songs. And then Gary finally was like, okay, thanks. And this is not really what we're looking for, but thank you. And on the way out the door, 2 women, Linda Blum, Marla McNally, were like, what was that upstairs? Me and my Detroit. It was us. Want to hear it? Y'all ready? So we sang for them. She asked us to come back. She said she wanted to take us to meet someone. We came back, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days later. She took us up to Epic Records, introduced us to Jerry Greenberg, who we didn't know at the time was running Michael's label, which is brand new. Nobody knew about it. We sang for Jerry. I'll never forget. Jerry was like, oh, God, this is amazing. And it was the first time I had been before someone. And this is why I say, you know, Jerry is Uncle Jerry, Jewish, very, very straight away, used to be at Atlantic, worked with Aretha Franklin, was a drummer. He's like, you're amazing, and I'm going to make you super famous. And it wasn't about weight or what we looked like. All those insecurities that I held kind of were out the door. And a few weeks later, we got an audition. They brought us into a room. The room was black. There was this spotlight. They didn't tell us who we were singing for, but there were a bunch of people, and it was a really big deal. And we left and went home, and probably a week or so after that, and a few weeks, I'm sorry, I'm exaggerating, Maxie ran to the payphone because we didn't have a landline, to call and just make calls, and called in, checked with Marla and them, and they were like, congratulations, you're going to be the first artist signed to Michael Jackson's label. They were all in the room and they loved you, and that's history.
I'm about to pass the fuck on.
And it's crazy story, right?
What's this story?
Yeah. It was really, for me, the first time that faith was tested.
Yeah.
And I was ready to go home. I was standing in the middle of the desert. I was ready to go home. And we stuck it out, and here we are.
Yes. How did y'all come up with the name Brownstone?
Again, sitting in the single apartment at Maxie's single apartment. We were kind of just going through names, because initially there were 5 of us, and then you know how it goes, like, this ain't happening fast enough, I got to go, or for whatever reason. It's so funny. Tammy Rome and I actually auditioned for a group with Tammy. We always joke about that to this day. I was supposed to be in her group, but she was supposed to be in mine.
Tammy,
yes, that's my sister forever. Tammy kept it so real with me. Tammy was actually in a girl group, and they were like models and super beautiful, and I auditioned for it, and Tammy was like, I really wanted you in my group, and I came and auditioned, and then after the audition, nobody wanted to tell me anything, and Tammy pulled me to the side, and she was like, you know what, it's only about the fact that they want everybody to look like 5'10" supermodels, but your voice, and she kept it so real with me, and I'll never ever forget that. And so I didn't make that group. Again, it was one of those situations where I was auditioning, and it was always like, cute face, but she don't fit the, it was that thing. And I get it, because at the time, that's kind of what it was. You know what I mean? You had to have the whole package.
Right.
So back to the Brownstone name, which was played into all of the rejection. It was Mimi had read a book called Brown Girls, Brown Stones. It was about a girl and just her trials with racial identity and living in New York. And then I was like, you know what? And brownstones are these amazing, classic, well-built structures that are around forever. And on the outside, they look plain, but on the inside, they're full of amazing, they deck them out, they do. So that kind of explains us. Like, we're more the internal experience than the external experience.
Word.
And then that became, you understand what I'm saying? So then there's where it came from. Strong like stone, earthy color brown.
That is so deep. Come on, Nikki.
We was deep when we was young, right? Ain't that great?
Yes. Okay. So while you're in a group, how do you decide who sings lead? How does that work, Nikki?
Well, okay, so let's talk about that. Because a lot of people would say, oh, that's the lead singer from Brownstone. First of all, everybody in the group sang lead. Everybody in the group always has, and in Brownstone, everybody in the group always will, whether it's Brownstone Original or the Brownstone Experience.
Right.
So we all sang lead. It just happened that we would get tracks, right? And tracks are like the beats with just the music or whatever, right? And I would just go in and I would get a track, and I just kept them headphones on, and I would just be writing. So when I wrote something and referenced it and sent it to the label, they would be like, oh, great, Grapevine, this is amazing. I like, literally, my sister and I, my sister was like, ooh, you should say X, Y, Z, A, B, and C. I'm like, yeah, that's great. So my sisters wanted to co-write us a Grapevine. 5 Miles to Empty, my dude was cheating on me. I went to the studio, I found out. We were literally in the car. The gas said, you have 5 miles to empty. Maxie was like, let's write about it. Like, so that's where that came from. Like, I was about to run out of gas. So I was really writing sometimes from experiences that other people had. And if I submit it to the label, they're like, oh, we love it. Let's go. Let's do it just like this. So because I was writing more, I think I ended up leading more. Well, actually on just about every song, it's me and Maxie leading, or,
right.
At least me and Maxie.
Right.
I think at the time I had probably a bigger sound. So the bigger sound in the 90s was definitely more like a thing. But
Right.
Maxie was by far the doper singer in the group, hands down. She could do what I could do, and she could do the shit I could not do. That
Right.
smooth lullaby, laid back, smooth. So vocally, I'm gonna go on ahead on and just let it be known that my sister Maxie was no joke. She was absolutely no joke. And I remember a time with I Can't Tell You Why, that was like Maxie's song. And then what happened was the label kind of became conditioned to hearing my voice. So it was like a thing about, no, you know, one of the label execs who I will not name was like, no, we need Nikki on the song. And I'm like, I don't want to do the song. Like, it's not even me. Like it doesn't even sound like me.
Right.
And it was just like, just let Maxie kill it. Just let her take it home. But also Maxie was really laid back. So she was laid back in her performances. She was laid back on stage. She was just real laid back, West Indian, South American, super sexy, very Sade. But we were in the 90s where everything was, you know, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they felt like I needed to be more present. But that was the only reason.
Oh, okay.
It was just the trend at the time.
I love that story about 5 Miles to Empty. Experience with you the best material. Don't it, Nikki?
Baby, listen.
Yeah.
It's okay, Max. It's okay, Nikki. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And it wrote the hit to his track. Talk about Get Back.
Yes.
Wrote it to your track about you.
Yes. Okay. So what's the preparation to becoming? No, what's the preparation to prepare an album? Like, how do you do that? Like, how do y'all come together to prepare an album?
Oh my goodness. You just start kind of. Well, I don't know how they do it now. I know how we're doing it now. I'm excited about what's coming up next with us. But I think the process is just kind of like, you know, that second album is always, they call it the second album jinx or the second album jitters, because you do this big, like after If You Love Me, what record do you do? Right? Like it's just to date one of the biggest R&B records, crossover records, right?
Yes, it is.
So you have to first kind of get that idea out of your head, which is so difficult that you want to compete with your first body of work, because that is your first body of work. It's not, nothing you do is ever going to be the first body of work again, right?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of get the competition with yourself out of your head, I guess, first. And then start listening to really great music and finding out like where you are. Because the thing is, when you're in a group, you evolve as a woman in a different way. You know, 5 Miles to Empty, I was in a relationship and my heart was broken, but I wasn't in a relationship like that in album number 1. So you just kind of have to look at where your life is and look at what you're experiencing and going through and what the theme of what your evolution is, right?
Yes.
And then kind of start vibing from there, especially when you're a singer-songwriter. I guess some people would just look for hit records, right? Some people just, you know, have people send them, send me your best records ever, whether it's appropriate for them or, well, I guess if it's a hit for them, it was appropriate. So I shouldn't say that. But, you know, just like some people, but when you are a self-contained group and you're really building the body of what the body of work is, I think you have to lean on what your experiences are and what, you know, what you're going through at the time and be true to it. Because I still believe to this day, what's true speaks to the heart. What's real speaks to the heart. The records that we did that we really either experienced or hoped to experience and aspire to are the most successful records we've had.
What's some challenges that you guys face as a group?
Now?
Yes. Or overall?
Silver hair? No. People thinking that you're washed up. People think, I mean, you know, now it's a different time, because I think people are respecting R&B music. I think, you know, we went through that 2000s period and it was like, what was that? You know, not what was that, because some good records came out of there, but like 90s was like,
yes.
You know what I mean? So then you go through this phase, and then you go through the phase of, oh, it doesn't work anymore. Now I think we're getting back to the space of people really wanting real music. So we're digging into the crates, digging into the stacks on this next album. And then the other thing is it's not about an album. We're doing an EP because they said, oh, people don't do albums anymore. The attention span of the consumer isn't long enough to go through 12 songs. It's a singles driven industry. So you got to find that hit record. You got to find that thing that goes to Spotify or iTunes or whatever. It just blows up. And there's just so much traffic because anybody has the ability to become a superstar overnight these days. Like all you need is, and the less you say, and the less you articulate, and the more you rap about, you know, coochie and drugs and all kind of, you know, the more, hey, that's what it is, you know. But I think the thing is that we have to remember the industry has always been driven by a younger consumer, even back in the day when Brownstone came out. Like, we're all grown as hell now, but we were in our 20s then. So it's always driven by a younger consumer, and music is the soundtrack of our lives. So what's going on in the world is typically a reflection of what happens in music, right? And if you're being true to your art. And right now the biggest struggle is figuring out how to make music that is not like everything that I've written since Brownstone has been very like, I'm not giving up, and like the world is up and everything is bad, you know what I mean? And like musically nobody wants to stay in that space.
Right.
So you got to find a space that's not rapping about your body or drugs or whatever, or singing about it for whatever, and a space where it's actually good music and people can receive it because it's something they're experiencing. That's the most difficult thing. Speaking to the experiences that people are having today, through the music, and that you're having.
Right. I know that got to be frustrating though, Nikki, for you to be such a powerhouse singer and the members in your group and the other girls from the 90s, for y'all to be singers and how y'all were so passionate about y'all craft and how y'all spent so much time reciting one word, like how y'all so passionate. It have to be so confusing and frustrating to y'all to be like, these other bitches, they can't even sing, and they hit it in those stadiums. I know that's frustrating.
Well, for me, it's a little different because it was people that couldn't sing in the 90s who had more of a look and a vibe and a thing. You know what I mean? But the music was still fire. Like, you don't even have to be this incredible, like, let me blow you out the water singer. You know what I mean? But that pocket is missing. It's a pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody, that's the way love goes. Janet ain't over singing that. She laid in it. She there, but the development that goes into it, the clothes, the look, the gear, the music, like all of that goes into it is missing.
Yes,
it's just missing. All you need to do now is have a hot beat and turn around and twerk your ass. And the better you are at twerking, and the longer your hair is, and the longer then the more successful that you become. And then also, I think that the industry has figured out a way to just make the machine work. So it's like, that's all you're going to see. That's all you're going to hear. That's all you're going to be exposed to. Why? Because the algorithms and all this technical shit that they control is going to dictate what people have. Because there's good music out there. Lettucey just won a Grammy. You know what I mean? So many people were nominated, and they're really great, amazing singers, but you don't get that because all those categories are the ones they do the day or two before. Like, people don't have an opportunity really. There's really no award show where you get to really hear great gospel, jazz, R&B, soul music, where people are exposed to these amazing talents. Radio stations are the same thing. You might have a classic soul and R&B station, but they're playing like stuff from back in the day. So it's hard for new artists and new talent and new music to break through. And you have to find new ways to reach your audience.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Who's your inspiration, Nikki?
My mama.
Oh, she sings too?
She's in heaven. She used to. She's a jazz singer, entrepreneur, one of the most beautiful, amazing people on the planet. We had an area in our house called the music room, and she would always be in there practicing, and we'd be like, Mom, we didn't know nobody would hear that. And that is the foundation of, who I became vocally. Not just who I became vocally, but as a woman, and my perspective on music and entrepreneurship and life is my mother. And then, of course, sprinkling in some Shaka Khan. A little bit of Riri, you know what I'm saying? But first and foremost, if I could choose one, it would be Helen Gilbert.
Yes. Wow, that is amazing. So how can we expect new music?
We are working on a new single that we are in the process of completing now. We're hoping that we'll be able to drop that by the Mother's Day weekend as a little special gift to the moms out there. We're working on visuals. So I'm like, I'm in the gym trying to get it together because it's COVID. I was good for a minute, but this COVID just worked on my girl. So EP covers. We're doing some covers, which we're really excited about.
Yeah.
And then we'll start working on some original stuff.
I can't wait. Because I'm missing that real. I'm missing it.
You're gonna get it. Oh, it's real. Oh, yeah.
I miss
This record we about to release is just, it's gonna take people back, but it's gonna bring people into, you know, what needs to happen moving forward.
right. So that's what I was about to ask. Are y'all gonna adapt to this new style, or you gonna keep your same flavor?
The new style is adapting to us. You know, that. I mean, you know, we might put a bow on the package, but the core of who we are and the sound and the music and the art is gonna stay. It's gonna evolve. Now I'm the oldest member of the group. I used to be the youngest member of the group, believe it or not. I was younger than everybody in Brownstone. Well, not young like that, but you know, it's a couple years between us. Now I'm the oldest, so I'm gonna let my young, you know, sisters in song, Erin and Tisha, kind of remind me of what's fly and current. But the core and the heart of what it is just gonna be that good old singing that make you, you know, feel something, and that's so important for us.
That is important. That is very important. So
we taking it back.
So when you say the original Brownstone and the Brownstone experience, what's the difference?
The difference is Maxie is not here.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but outside of that, the difference is we do more. Y'all can't see me, I'm lifting an arm. You know, we're doing more choreography. We are getting into, like, we're really paying homage to girl groups of the past, right? You know, those Supremes moments never go away. You know, we're incorporating really great soulful music into our live shows. We want our audiences to be able to have an experience. You know, we're doing a throwback to some 90s stuff that people obviously don't want to ever have go away. Mm-hmm. So more artist development. Shout out to Marvelous and Loretta at Marvelous Entertainment and Victor, Mr. Glamrock Soul, who you've seen on the Housewives working with everybody and all out. You know, he's helping us put our stuff together, and he has this love affair with girl groups of the past. So more girl group stuff. Like Maxie was never really having all of that. Two-step and arms and floaty and all that stuff. So she was just like, look, let's just go on stage and just give it to him. Yeah. And then moments when we just give it to you on stage, but we're really focused on really building our stage show up so that it is entertaining and sexy, but grown. And we're not trying to fit into this mold that we don't fit into.
Right. I just got excited. So look, Nikki, in 2003, you released a solo album called Grown Folks.
Oh, yes.
So what motivated you to do a solo album?
The fact that the label actually, so I was you talked about writing for other artists. That was one of them situations where I was in the studio and I was like, you know what, I just want to work as a writer. And almost all the songs were pretty much done. They were just songs I wanted to pitch to other people. And MCA Records, Jeffrey Harlison, and we're like, nah, we're gonna put these on an album that you do. So put the album together. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on at Music Cemetery of America, MCA. That was mean. I should have said that. That was terrible. I shouldn't have said that. Speaking of thoughts. But I'll never forget, they called me. It was like a delay in the album coming out, and they called and were like, you know what? We're not going to release your album, but we're going to give you your masters back. Jeffrey Harlison, shout out to him. I will never forget that phone call. And just, you know, I was like, okay, I didn't know what it meant at the time, but then I became very clear, you know, when I was sent some orders out to Japan, I was like, oh, so I don't have to, so this don't have to go to them. This me. Oh, that's what that means. So was able to license my own stuff, distribute my own stuff, do distribution deals for my own product over there, overseas. And then, of course, it's on iTunes right now, Grown Folks Music. Get it while you can. It'll always be there. But a body of work I'm really proud of. Again, it was like going through some shit in a relationship, put it on wax. And it was for somebody else, but it ended up being for me. And we're actually incorporating some of those songs in our live show.
Yes, that is amazing. Yeah. So you did your solo too, and you also did a little reality TV.
Okay? A little bit.
Yeah. So how did R&B Divas come about?
R&B Divas was my baby. It was something that I created because we were in that space of washed up 90s R&B. Oh, who cares? You know, there has been. I've been watching The Housewives and some of these other reality shows, and I was like, you know what? It would be really dope to create a show that showed the journey of women in R&B and what we go through and how difficult it can be, but also trying to, you know, build our brands. And at the time, my focus wasn't as much on music. Of course, it was on, let me launch my clothing line, let me become this businesswoman and entrepreneur. So I reached out to all of the women. Most of them were a go. I've had Selena and Monifa, everybody come down. We leveraged my husband's credit at the time, and we shot for weeks. And then sat down and edited for days and came up with the sizzle reel I called Faith and was like, listen, I really need an anchor for this. Will you come on board and be an anchor for this product or for this project? Faith came on board. She brought her manager at the time. And he kind of figured a way into it and was like, oh, well, I can take it over here to this person, but if I take it over here, then I have to get involved over here. And I was a little reluctant, but I didn't know a lot about TV, and he was her manager at the time. So I was like, you know what? And Faith was like, you know what, Nikki, I really think he has the right intentions and he can take it here. That was probably mistake number one for me, not being educated about ownership, which is a really important thing. And knowing that if you don't own what you create, now, mind you, I'm involved in it kind of forever, but in terms of being able to look at it and say, hey, this is a representation of who we are and this is great, I didn't have the right to do that. They played the game with us for the first couple of episodes with me and Faith, but they're like, hey, so this is what it is. So when we saw, oh, well, this is great.
Right.
Episode 1 through 3 is great. But did not know that they wanted to turn it into the train wreck stuff. And I remember making a promise to God before the show got picked up, because before the show got picked up, a film that I'm actually in the process pre-production on right now. Before the show got picked up, everybody said no. Everybody was like, this ain't what we looking for. We need like action and drama, right? So I started writing this film project then, before we even got picked up, about a group of women who wanted to do something positive in the reality TV space, but everybody said no. And I promised the Lord, once this thing starts to go off the tracks and turn into something else, I'll walk away from it. And because of that promise, that's exactly what I did. It ended up being the biggest learning experience of my life. Like I said, I don't like to look at life with regret, but it was definitely something that I thought was going to break me in half, because it was just seeing all of these other careers. I'm a person who, I'm really rooted in I'm coming from the right place. I'm not going to go wrong. I'm going to always try to come from the right place. Even if I make wrong decisions or mistakes, the intentions are right. What I intend to do is right. I have a problem when I see other people being abused or, mistreated, especially when those people are looking at me like, Nikki, you asked us to do this. You brought us into this. What's going on?
Right.
And when that started to happen and I saw that I had no control over it, I said, I'm going to leave. And if it's supposed to thrive while I'm not here, it's going to thrive while I'm not here. If it's going to go away because of you took the heart and soul out of it, it's going to go away. And it went away. And that was that. And we've tried to kind of revamp it. I've literally reached out to the women like, hey, here's an opportunity now that we understand ownership and we understand the direction, and we can get back to the music and we can get back to the most important parts of this. Come on, y'all, let's come together. Let's try to make this happen. And some of the ladies are like, yes, I'm down. And others are like, nope, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So the friendships and the relationships are probably permanently destroyed because of, a culturally incompetent white male lens and brothers who didn't have our back when they should have, who we brought into the situation.
Right.
And it's just, bad energy across the board on that. And unfortunately, I don't think it'll ever be what it was. But it was a learning experience, which led me to produce other things. And I'm excited about that. So I don't regret it, because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Was there anything on the show that was scripted, Nikki?
Okay, so here's the thing. There's a difference between scripted and prompted and edited, right? So is there any sheet of paper somewhere where there's like, we want Nikki and Selena to be, we want such and such? I don't know. I ain't seen it. But, well, in fact, let me stop lying. I did accidentally get an email that I wasn't supposed to get that spoke that kind of language. Like, we don't want Nikki and Selena to be friends and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, this is what we doing? Okay. So, no, there's no script that says we want you to fight. But what happens is each person has like their producers, right? So the producers talk, and the producers might say, Michelle really doesn't think, I'm just going to use generic names. Michelle really doesn't think that Lisa likes her. And she's like, she just doesn't understand why Lisa doesn't talk to her. Now, Lisa could have said, I don't think Michelle likes me. Like, I try and I'm a little shy, but the producer's going to say, she doesn't. She doesn't like her at all. In fact, she said her kids were ugly. She said her house is messy. So then next time you up in a scene with Michelle, Lisa's like, well, why are you so angry with me? What happened? But we don't know that somebody had told Michelle.
Yeah.
Follow me? That Lisa don't like her and her kids, and she got a junky ass house and X, Y, and Z.
Oh.
The other thing that happens is, we got to really get the ratings up or they're going to cancel the show. We really need something to really fire it up or they're going to cancel the show. You think you could give us something? Because this person over here thinks that they're the boss. And we really need you to break them down and let them know that they're not. So no, it's not scripted. It's prompted.
And it's a lot of instigating. It's a lot of instigating.
Instigating. And, like production will rent a raggedy ass tour bus that's broken down, that's got people. And because my contract that my lawyer signed as an executive producer, and Faith's contract says when you have to go X amount of miles, you fly, and this is how you fly, and whatever, these are things you negotiate as a producer. And then the people in the raggedy bus will be like, there was no air conditioning, the bus broke down, it took us 18 hours to get here. And they'll be like, oh, that's the bus that Nikki got for y'all. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know there was a bus. What are you talking about?
Right.
So then you get there and it's just like, why would you put us on that fucking bus? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking. So then at that point, once you've got one or two of those moments, then when cameras are rolling, they're basically filming like this unspoken tension, or like trying to capture this nervous breakdown, for lack of a better word, because you're getting all these attacks when cameras are not rolling. My phone stayed ringing off the hook 24/7 after every scene. They did this and this happened and they keep doing this and they keep. So I'm trying to manage what's going on with talent, what's going on with myself on the camera, fighting with producers, until finally it was just enough is enough. I said, you know what? If I'm the problem, let me remove myself from the situation. And I attempted to leave the show after season 1, but the network flew me down and said, listen, if you don't come back, it's a wrap. We're pulling the plug. I came back for season 2 because there was the threat of the show not continuing if I did not. And I said, okay, I will, but this time we have to focus on this tour.
That's right.
First episode of season 2, they done told Selena and her sister, we need y'all to go announce this tour that y'all put together. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, this is a setup. I told the network I was gonna bring this AEG Live Nation hell of a promotional tour to the group. And now I'm walking into a situation where I was late because production had me come late. So that's the little things that they'll do. Like, they'll have people waiting for you the whole time, but your call time really ain't till 9:30. But dinner started at 5.
Wow.
So you coming in there like, I'm coming in here late. Like, I just got here. They just told me to come here at this time. So then it's just so no, it's not scripted, but it's surely instigated. And certain things are definitely prompted.
So did you try to, after the show was over, did you reach out to them? Because was they your friends before you actually got on the show?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. For sure we were friends. And it's, really unfortunate that a lot of those friendships are over. I didn't necessarily reach out because, again, my life became a whirlwind after the embarrassing performance that Brownstone had on the show, which Maxie, I told her, she was like, oh my God, I hit that note in the show. Now, mind you, we had much better performances because we do a couple of takes, but we had better performances. But of course, she was broken up about this note she hit. And I'm like, Maxie, they're going to use it. They're going to use the bad one. There's no benefit to them to use the good one. They're going to use the bad one. This is a setup. And of course they did. And she was humiliated, and that really embarrassed her, embarrassed us. It was supposed to be a Brownstone moment. So after the show wrapped, I just didn't want anything else to really do with it. I felt so betrayed. A gun was pulled on my husband. by another cast member, which they squashed that. But, it's just a traumatic, awful, horrible situation right after that. And then I left, and then they're like, okay, cool, but we're not going to pay you because it doesn't say in your contract what day we have to pay you. So we'll pay you once everybody else is taken care of. Now, mind you, it was LA franchise. Atlanta was going into season 3, and I just wasn't getting paid. And I had invested all of my money in my business and in my clothing line. And I had invested every dime we had into really trying to have our businesses thriving so we could showcase that on the show. And unfortunately, they were like, oh, we're not going to show your business. I'm like, what? So immediately I had to start paying a lawyer. Was in the middle of this horrible legal battle with them for my salary as a creator of a show, not just a show, creator of a franchise, watching people go to Hawaii. I suggested to Mo that she get married on the show. I didn't even get an invitation to the wedding. So it was just, and then they did the reunion show. I wasn't even on the episode. All throughout the whole season, my name was coming up and, oh, she's whack, and oh, she's, and I'm like, I haven't received a salary in almost a year. I'm paying a lawyer hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then my best friend died. So it was just one thing on top of another. So no, I had zero interest in reaching out to anybody because I felt like if I did, it was going to go bad for me and them, because I was really in that space mentally where I was like, boom.
Right.
Especially when I was working so hard for the benefit of everybody. I was painted as somebody who wanted to hurt people when in fact I was, I created the show. Don't forget, I flew you down. I offered for you and your family to live with me. I was always looking out for us. My feuds with people behind the camera were because of us, not because of me. It was looking out for all of us. And nobody had my back. Nobody had my back through, well, Faith did, Kiki did, few people did. But when I was going through that horrible litigation, nobody reached out to see if I was okay. I lost everything, financially, completely destroyed. And then I lost my best friend and people started reaching out to me. But at that point, I'm like, so to date, people have reached out, people have apologized, people have been transparent about what people told them to say and do. And I accept that and I receive that. And I love all the ladies and I hold no ill will to them because I know what was at play. But it's just horrible that this was an opportunity for us to live and thrive and grow and be in season 22, like the Housewives, and really rebuild careers and rebuild R&B music. And because some folks who didn't understand who we were or what our contributions were and instead wanted to see us fight, decided that they wanted to ruin it, a beautiful franchise was ruined and friendships irreparably broken because of the show.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that.
Well, it happens for a reason, though. You know what I'm saying? Like at the time, I'll be like, "Yeah, that fucked up," but but now, as a result of that, other things were born that are, super great. So I have no issues with it, and we're all planning. I talked with Angie; she was really transparent. We had a great conversation on my little podcast show, and we're all planning to get together at some point, I think. And
that's good.
Try to mend.
That's good. I pray for that healing. I really do.
Thank you.
Yes. So would you ever do reality TV again, though?
You know what? Yes, I would. Because I think reality TV, let me stand corrected. I will do docu-series television, which is what this show was supposed to be. So the difference between reality TV and docu-series TV is that with reality TV, it's just the bullshit. Like, it's just the whole, go flip a table, beat her ass, tell her you don't like her, like all of the things that we don't want to see in television, that I don't want to be a part of. Docu-series TV is like, let's follow the journey of this hustle and this grind. And it's real and it's raw and it's honest and transparent. So we are working on something that I'm really excited about, but it's a docu-series show.
Right.
Because I think that it helps build careers and everybody is into that genre. And I think it could be just as compelling without all of the manufactured, instigating.
Right. Do you feel like R&B Divas, the reality show, damaged your brand?
Yes. For sure. There are still people who don't like me. There are still people who it's crazy because I'll be in the grocery store and this happened 2 weeks ago. I was in the grocery store and this lady was just like, I let her get in front of me or whatever. And I was like, oh, you don't have a lot of stuff. You get in front of me. She was like, you so nice. And I was just like, oh, well, thank you. She's like, I thought you was a bitch, but you nice. And I was just like, okay. No, I mean, but she wasn't being real. She was just keeping it real. And that was a compliment. She was like, and I'm like, wow, there are people who.
I couldn't have been with you. I couldn't have been with you because I'm like, bitch, you don't know us. You don't know us.
Right. But she wasn't. But the thing is, she wasn't even being like, she wasn't even trying to be nasty. She was just like, yeah, there are people who, like, honestly, there are women who have been on the show who are like, I'm not talking to that bitch. And I'm like, but I created the show that blew you up. Like, hi.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they're just like, because I don't like how you talk to old girl. I'm just like, that shit ain't real, right? Because you was on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy how. And so the beautiful thing is when you reach a certain point in your life and you realize that the people in your household love you, my grandbaby love me, my family love me, I know what my intentions are for myself, and you have relationships that have been there since day one that are not judging you. You realize that this industry can really screw people up by making them think that people who are supporting you because of what they see on TV are actually your friends.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually the people who, it's like you could be Kobe Bryant winning championships, and the minute you lose one, they're like, yeah, I got it. You know what I mean? So it's just when you're in the entertainment industry, it's par for the course. So I don't base who I am as an individual on what somebody saw on TV. I get it. There were scenes and moments where I was like, wait a minute. I don't like that much either. Talking about myself. You know what I mean? But I'm holding the baby. They got me yelling. I'm like, I wasn't yelling. The baby never woke up. But it made it seem like I was just this terrible. And I'm like, we're not going to have drinks. Like, I'm talking to them. But I'm actually talking to producers because Kiki asked me, like, hey, do we have to? I just had the baby. Does this have to be a getting drunk and going off on Kiki moment? And I'm defending. There are moments where I'm literally talking to the people behind the camera. Like, we're not about to do this shit. And you're not going to do this and that. And then they cut it like I'm talking to the women. So naturally people are like, who she thinks she is? Not knowing that I was defending the character of the women in the scene and in the moment. And that's just the trickery that happens when you're on television. But again, it's reality TV. When you sign up for it and you stay in it, that is what you signed up for. That is what it is. And some people don't mind that. Like some people don't mind people thinking that they're awful, terrible. Well, some people pretend like they don't mind, but I think at the root of it, nobody wants to be viewed as somebody people don't like.
Right.
But if you're winning being a bad bitch, you're going to keep being a bad bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you think you're winning being a bad bitch, until you realize they could fire you at the drop of a dime, just like the next person. And that person that they said was the troublemaker and the reason for everything going bad is the reason why that show ain't on TV right now.
Yeah. You talking now, Nikki. You talking now, Nikki. And we just gonna leave that alone. But you talking now.
God don't like ugly and he don't like cute. And at the end of the day, God is gonna make the decision. Karma is a bitch.
That's right. That's
so
right.
If that's what she is. That's what she is.
You are talking now. So you guys don't have it's no way that you can protect your character when being put in those situations.
Well, no, because you sign contracts that say you can't talk about any of the behind the scenes, none of the stuff. They're called NDAs. And if you do that, then they take you to court. And that's part of the reason why they took me to court as well, because I had a conversation with Jamie Foster Brown called me. And, that's Auntie Jamie at the time, back in the day for sure. And I just kind of was like, Jamie, and they're doing this and they're doing. She was like, tell me about what happened with the gun. And I was just so distraught. And I believe it was Coco, I didn't mean to put you in this. Me, Kelly, and Shantae had done this interview, and it was a phone call, and that transcript from the phone call became like an interview in the magazine. And then because I shared all of this stuff, like just kind of venting and not being aware, then that was the basis for them saying, well, you did tell all this information you weren't supposed to tell, so we're not going to pay you. So now I could give two shits, because at the end of the day, truth is truth, and now Black women are more protected than we were back then. And if we gonna go, let's go, because I got my lawyer on speed dial and they be subbing this bitch. But I also don't fear repercussions of sharing truth, because it's more important for people to learn from the mistakes that I made, so that we don't continue this horrible cycle of our narratives being destroyed and our people being disrespected in the media because it's just too much. Like, I get that that's what's hot and that's what sells and that's what makes money. But as a culture, when people see us acting that way on television, they assume that when we're in corporate America or when we show up in a hospital or when we show up in offices that are real life situations, that is who we are. Because a lot of them don't see any other images of us other than ones in social media and on reality TV. And they treat us differently based on that. Our kids get educated differently based on that. Our hospital care is worse based on the perceptions of who we are and the fact that we don't deserve certain things. And that's just wrong. And if I can share my cautionary tale, make sure you own it. Make sure you can see the cut. Make sure that you have clauses. And it's hard when somebody's offering you what most people start off at $2,500, $3,000 a week. You know what I mean? And you struggling and you're trying to feed your kids like, I don't care. I'm just going to do whatever. But you shouldn't have to do that to make a living. You should not have to destroy people publicly or on television to feed your kids and be an entertainer in this game. It just should not be the case. And if a person has a problem with me saying that, then holler at your girl. Because I'm a big girl, 50-something years old, and ain't afraid to speak my truth and my experience.
That's right. That's right, Nikki. So, Nikki, you did a little acting and you did theater.
Yes, I was a theater girl.
Yes, you were a theater girl. And you worked with Tyler Perry.
Yes.
On Meet the Browns, Nikki. I love that character. You did so well.
Oh, you shy. My son went to Penn State. Yeah.
I didn't know that was you until after the second time I watched it. I said, bitch, that's Nikki from Brownstone. How was it working with Tyler Perry on Meet the Browns?
Amazing. He's a master. He's a genius. He's a master, period. Tyler Perry it was very unnerving. There's even a video I have of him like, yeah, she almost got fired, but she pulled it together. Because a lot of people don't know, I'm a little reserved in new situations with new people, right? I'm a very warm and inviting person, but I'm just not like, hey, you know what I mean? So I was a little standoffish and more, especially when it's work related. I'm like, let me get this script right so I could do what I need to do for work and keep it moving. And Tyler was incredible. David was incredible. Like, they gave me the freedom to really develop the character into something else because she wasn't a drunk in the original script. You know, she didn't dress crazy like David. That was just something that we sort of started ad-libbing and adding to the character, and it just worked. And it was a huge blessing. And it was the thing that inspired me to write my show, Soul Kittens Cabaret, which, you know, I then went on to, you know, produce that. But yeah, it was incredible. Tyler Perry is... he's genius. You can't take anything away from that man. He knows how to take something from thin air and turn it into a multi-billion-dollar brand. And you gotta respect that.
So, Nikki, why you say you almost got fired? Because you were standoffish?
Well, I don't think it was because I was standoffish. I think because I was like conflicted in my character initially. Because again, she wasn't like, you shop and the knee shaking and all that stuff. I kind of started adding that. And before I like laid into it and made it mine, when I was just reading off the book and like pulling it back. And Tyler has this thing where he's just like, I don't want this to be step and fetch it. Do not give me step and fetch it. Give me acting, give me comedy, but don't get. And initially in the first moment of it, because I was supposed to read for the daughter-in-law initially. And then he changed it and was like, here, let me let you read this role. And I read the role and he was like, what, she's alcoholic now? And I was like, well, it's just something I added that I thought would be. And he was like, all right, keep it. And then I guess I wasn't delivering my full performance until performance time. I was marking it. That's what it was. I think I was marking my character as opposed to like delivering it because he didn't want step and fetch it. But he also wanted it to be funny. And I was trying to figure out, oh shit, how do I do this without making it step and fetch it and I make it funny? Right. And the first night we opened up, I believe in New Orleans, and I came in there and I was just like, and I will never forget, Wayne was like, just go out here and do what you do in rehearsal when Tyler's not there. I was like, okay. And I was holding back and I went out there and did it. And the crowd went crazy.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was I'll never forget. They were cracking up. They were laughing so hard. And that energy gives you more energy. So we just killed. And Dave was like, you got this, sis. You got this. David and Tamela Mann are two of my favorite people in the whole world. He just really held my hand through that process and was like, just go for it. Just go out there and have fun. And I think I was afraid to have fun. And when I allowed myself to have fun, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. It was killing them. Selling out everywhere.
How often do y'all rehearsal? I always want to do a play. How often do y'all rehearsal?
It is extensive. Like we rehearse the book and then we have to rehearse on the stage. So it takes a month or two to get it really, down packed. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, but it was the funnest experience of my life. Like everybody on that set, Trina Braxton, Dee Dee McKinney, Terrell Carter, Dave and Tam, like that show was just
that
amazing.
Show was good. Ain't nothing like a good.
Yes, honey, yes. And friendship still to this day.
Yes. So now we're down to the final moments of this conversation, and this is what we do. We reflect. So basically what I do is I show you a picture, and you look at the picture with you in it, and you tell me what was going on at that moment, and what what was you thinking?
Okay.
So here we go. All right. I'm still here with my girl, Nikki of Brownstone. So here we go, Nikki. Let's go through some of these beautiful things. Let us reflect. Okay, so hold on. Here we go. What was going on at this moment?
Oh, at that moment, I felt pretty. I felt happy that my hair and makeup team was amazing, and my photographer was Mr. Derek Blanks. And I felt like this was the beginning of a new chapter.
Oh, what about this moment?
Ooh. This moment, I felt super blessed doing the Essence Festival on the Forest Sirius stage. I felt a lot of anxiety because I didn't think people would understand how Brownstone became four. But when because Mimi did the songs from the first album that she was a part of, and we brought Aaron in to do the second set. I was a little concerned, but because Aaron, Mimi, and Tisha were such rocks, I felt relief in this moment. I felt nervous and excited.
What about this moment?
Oh, wow. This moment was big. This moment was really big. I felt really blessed to be on, I think that was from Jimmy Kimmel with Tory Lanez. I felt really blessed to be in that moment with Mimi and Tisha. That was a moment, that was the first time Mimi and I had seen each other since she left the group. And it was just like clockwork. And the way our voices met was just like clockwork. So I felt honored to be there in LA on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
And happy that Mimi was there with us. Very happy.
What about this moment, Nikki?
Oh my goodness. That was Jay Leno.
Yeah.
And that was a Jay Leno show. And I just remember thinking, we have arrived. We're on the Jay Leno show and we got to sing our asses off. And I remember being a little mad that I had this church dress thing on, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna distract these people with this bomb short haircut and this big old mouth and song, and we killed. Yeah.
Yes. This moment.
Oh, that's the moment that I talked to you about earlier, where Michael and I had the conversation. That's that moment I talked to you about earlier, where he said, "You're great." And I chose you because of that. So that was probably the most validating moment of my musical career.
Who's the other guys in the picture, Nikki?
So Jerry Greenberg is the guy standing next to Mimi, who is the person who I told you when he saw us, I felt no shame in being a big girl.
Right.
Who's like, oh my God, you're amazing. I'm going to sign you. He ran Michael Jackson's label. Of course, that's Mimi, Maxie, Michael. Maxie and Michael had this thing. They got this little thing in heaven because they spent a lot of time talking on this day. And that is, I believe, Dave Blue, who was at Sony, and that's Lisa Marie Presley, who was with Michael at the time, and myself.
Yes. What about this moment?
Oh my goodness. Okay. First of all, my rock, my sword, and my shield, right? How did I get a man who has absolutely no desire to be of this industry and in this industry, but has every desire to support me in it and has my back and is the person who checks the checker very ever so silently. That is my military man. That is my rock. That was the premiere of season 2, I believe, where we had 2 different premiere parties. And me and Kiki did one, and then the other ladies did another one, and it was off the chain. We were wondering if people were going to show up, and like the whole of Atlanta showed up to me and Kiki's party. So it made me feel validated.
And what about this moment?
Ooh, so this moment. Okay, first of all, Lena and RL are 2 of my favorite people. And their little baby Rory is amazing and beautiful and gorgeous. And I actually went to their wedding, so super excited about that. Okay, so this and Monifa is bittersweet. At that moment, all was well. We're working on, and all will be well, because you know, she's my sister in song and my sister in spirit. But yeah, it just reminds me of the connection, the reconnection that she and I have to do.
Yes. Nikki,
you asked what I was thinking of at the moment, and I went into what's going on now. At the moment, we were just enjoying the moment.
Yes. But Nikki, you have been wonderful on this Saturday morning.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Thank you for having me.
I support you. I love Brownstone. Always love Brownstone. Always will.
Thank you. Thank you for showing us love and support. I'll be seeing you singing your songs and the things. I was like, don't do that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
If you didn't take anything from this conversation today, please get to know people for yourself and not what others try to paint them out to be.
That's right.
Nikki,
Have a good one. Bye. Have a good one.
You too. Yes. Give it up for Nikki. That was great. Yes. Didn't we have a good time today? That was a great conversation. Yes. Okay. Wow. I love her in this show. Thank you, guys. Thank y'all for being here today. Thank y'all for being here today. Yes. I appreciate all of my good girlfriends, homeboys, haters, and pickable bitches. Growth is amazing. Yes, it is. Rest in peace to the member who passed away, Brownstone. Yes. Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate this conversation. Thank you. Love the interview. Thank you. Wonderful interview. Thank you. Lonnie, you gave that, honey. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate y'all. She was beautiful. She was beautiful. She had beautiful teeth. She had beautiful teeth. Bitch, okay, I gotta get mine done. But she got beautiful teeth. Yes, okay. Excellent interview. Thank you. Yes. All right. The Lonnie Bee Show. Coming soon. Speak it. Medium brown. Speak it, medium brown. Yes. Okay. I see your evolution. Thank you. Yes. I love y'all so much. Okay. Wow. I am truly amazed. I had no idea. Thank you, DJ. Come on now. I love this conversation, Judy. I didn't know that was my girl. Oh, yes. Come on now. Yes. Lonnie, you have a nice smile. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me back to my beauty. Thank you for making me acknowledge my beauty. Ain't that right, Mo? I mean, ain't that right, Mike? I called you Mona. Okay, my friend Mona must be talking about me, bitch. I gotta call that bitch. Yes, thank y'all so much. Love your energy. Thank you. I love your presence. Thank you for being here. I am speaking it into existence. You deserve a bigger platform. Oh, thank you, Black Love Hall. Bitch, thank you so much. Yes, I love you, Lonnie, and thanks for another amazing Saturday. Thank y'all too. Okay? Lonnie is so fine. Oh, stop, you flirt, you. You stop, you flirt, you. Yes. All right. Yes. Okay. Hold on. Congratulations, Lonnie, on another great interview. Yes, it was great. Yes, you do have a beautiful smile. Okay, Pamela. Come on, Pamela. Thank you. Yes, okay. Lonnie, you handled that like a true star. Morning tea with Lonnie Bee on the horizon. Thank you so much, Stacy Hightower. That's my girl, Stacy. Yeah, she was at the show. Say it, do it, show it, prove it. Yes, bitch, you better sing that song. Yes. Please thumbs up this video. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Please thumbs up this video. Yes, y'all be reminding the people. Thank you for reminding the people because y'all know I forget sometimes. That's why you are usher. You are usher. Forever my Judy and you're forever my good girlfriend. That was amazing. Thank y'all so much. Yes. Hey, Ashley. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Hold on. Lonnie, stop using the N word, the B word. It's enough hatred in this corrupt world. Okay. See, that's where your mind at. Mine's not. See, words have no affection over the way that I move. Okay? I don't give words that power. So I say bitch with love and I say nigga with a hug. Okay? Just to let you know. Okay? You use it to how you use it and I use it to how I use it. See, sometimes we got to take the power out of the words and turn the negative into a positive. I say bitch with love and nigga with a hug. Here we go. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to play my CD now. That was really great, and we'll listen to the rest. Yes, your show is coming. This conversation had a different flow by you. Thank you so much. Yes, we need the Lonnie Bee show. Oh, thank you. That part, okay? That part, girl. Okay? I say bitch with love and nigga with a hug. Come on now. Yes. People try to control you, girl. People try to control you. Okay? You got to know what you stand for and what you represent. Okay? What you heard and who I am. Come on now, bitch. Yeah. Oh, my God. Thank y'all so much, okay? Thank y'all so much. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Okay, let's see what Lisa say. Lisa say, you will be great on the talk. I don't want to be, I just want to be me and you, the talk. That's it, Lisa. Me and my good girlfriends, okay? You know, they be arguing on that talk. They be arguing. You seen Sharon? You seen Sharon? Yeah, and our girl. What's her name? Sharon and our girl. Cheryl. Sharon and Cheryl, bitch. Okay, the two S's. Fighting. Windmilling. Yes, okay? Okay. Look at Momo, my DC bitch. Exit button. Exit button. It's not too far if you don't like what he says. Okay, Moses, the DC bitch. DC bitch, you stand up. Get your hands out my pocket. DC bitch, okay? That's my DC bitch. Okay, we understand when you say bitch and nigga. Okay, hold on. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm the fuck down. Okay? I think that person left the building. I think that person got their person left. Everybody calm the fuck down. I think that person, bitch, we can Mo ready to fight. I think that person grabbed their purse and left. Everybody calm the fuck down. Yes, everybody calm down. All right, yes. I love y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Okay, thank y'all so much for being here. If you in the DC area, y'all go out and vote today. Okay, they're voting today. Okay, yeah. For officials in office. So y'all make sure y'all vote, okay? Now, these are the officials that we need to vote for in D.C., okay? So we can put them in them big positions like mayor and president. All right, so y'all go out and vote. I love y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Oh, and Sunday, tomorrow, bitch, okay? I'm going to be live, okay? In the live show. Yes, bitch, okay? So if you got your tickets for tomorrow, I'll see you there, bitch. And don't forget to get your tickets. Get your tickets, okay? Because we have just a few tickets left. I think it was 40. Okay, overall, the last time I checked, out of 2 days and 4 shows, okay, on the 18th and the 25th of April, bitch, okay? Make sure you get your ticket today, okay? So y'all get y'all tickets at my website, www.LonnieBeeYourJudy.com, if you want to see me live, all right? See y'all next time. Love y'all. Everybody calm the fuck down. I think that bitch grabbed her purse and left, girl. See y'all, all my bitches and niggas. Bye, y'all.
Now tonight, I'm not just gonna have a conversation. I'm gonna talk my shit.
I think it's a dynamite show, great show, very unique. I had never seen an element that he brought to this show. I've never seen a comedian that can give you 5 comedy, 5 lessons. A show that was so unique that touched all his audience as far as what they were going through.
I'm different, you know what I'm saying? I'm different like a motherfucker. But we gonna get through it, y'all, together.
I applaud anybody who hasn't seen it, go see it. You better buy a ticket. My brother's selling out every time he drops a show. Keep on selling out. You know what I'm saying? Because the uniqueness that he brings to the stage, it's not matched by anybody.
motherfucking ticket, you losing out. You missing it. Trust me. Behind the mask is where it's at.